Yep. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you for joining Israelite Nation Assembly. Thank you for allowing us to come into your homes or wherever you may be. We're going back into Genesis today. We're going to do chapters 3 and 4. I was just asked in the class about last week. Seems as everyone enjoyed the lesson last week. We pray that they did so. We pray that some of you that are watching by internet that you enjoyed Genesis 1 and 2. And you're with us today for 3 and 4. So we're getting ready here. Go into Genesis. I'll tell you why I want to do this, Captain Iron. It's because the lessons we do, the lessons that we normally do, my expectation is that people know what I'm talking about. It's my expectation. Been teaching several years now. So my expectation is people know what I'm saying. Oftentimes people don't know what I'm saying because they haven't properly went through the foundation of the Bible. If you don't know Genesis, you're lost. You gotta know Genesis. And you have to know it properly. You have not what the church taught you. Not what they taught you about folks running around, 2 people populating the whole world, running around buck naked, talking to snakes. And napping. Eating apples. And talking to snakes. So you have to have the proper understanding of what Genesis is. Genesis is filled with metaphors. Genesis is just almost mirrors Revelations. Like Revelations, getting to Revelations, and there's a lot of similitudes and metaphors. But Genesis is the same way. All right. So let's get down to it. All right, we're going to start at Deuteronomy first. Deuteronomy 29 and 29. Keep that one on Genesis. Well, you know, man, you don't know where I'm going to go.
You got to keep this phone up.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Deacon Kiefer not here, so it's all on you, all eyes on you.
Next week, you know what you're doing. What verse you want, man?
29 and 29. Chapter 29, verse 29.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verses 29. And it reads, the secret things belong unto the Most High thy power.
The secret things belong to the Most High. Yeah, read.
But those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children.
Come on.
Forever. That we may do all the words of this law.
So all of the secret things belong to the Most High, but he reveals them to the children of Israel. He reveals them to the children of Israel. Let's get another preset. Give me Amos 3 and 7. Before we go over to Genesis, give me Amos 3 and 7. The secret things belongs to Yah, but he reveals them to the children of Israel. Come on.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Most High Yah will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
Read it again.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Most High Yah will do nothing.
He will do nothing, but
he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
He reveals the secrets of this Bible to his servants, the prophets. The prophets are the only ones who know the scriptures. Pastor don't know the scripture. That's why Creflo get you messed up. TD, he get you messed up. Jamal Bryant, he had you jacked up.
Don't have no association with the law.
He don't have no association with the law. He don't know scripture.
For sure.
And the Most High would not reveal. Why would he reveal his secret to someone that don't even keep the law? You're disobedient in the first place. So why would he reveal the secrets of this Bible to you? All right? Let's go to Genesis now. Now that we done laid that foundation that the secret is revealed to the prophets, now let's go to Genesis 3 and let's pull out some of these mysteries.
I remember that other lesson you did on this too.
I didn't hear you.
I remember that other lesson you did on this too.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, Genesis 3 is where I'm going, Captain Ira.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verses 1. Mm-hmm. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Read it again.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Most High Yah had made.
Which Most High Yah has made. The serpent was more subtle. He was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Almighty thy Yah has made. Read on.
And he said unto the woman, Yeah, have Yah said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Now, the Christian world, how you believe that this butt-naked woman was walking around the garden and all of a sudden, ooh, a python. And the python just started talking. It's not making sense. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta admit, I grew up in a Christian church. I seen all of the cartoons, the stories and stuff. And they made it, they pushed this stuff on you. So I thought it was a snake too, like everybody else. You know, they never said nothing different. I'm like, wow. Right. They said, oh, they just chopped it up to, oh, Adam could talk to animals. You know, the animals could talk to you back then. Right. But you have to think about it. You have to use your mind and think about something. This is a snake with the brain the size of a quarter. Is it really sitting up here having the whole conversation with this woman right here and out slicking this woman? Is that what's going on?
For sure.
No, let's go back over verse 3 and we're gonna find out what the secret is here. Come on.
Yeah, verse 2.
Chapter 3. I meant verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1.
Come on.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Most High Yah had made. And he said unto the woman, Yeah, have Yah said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
You should not eat of every tree of the garden. So in order to find out what this serpent is, we must first begin with what the beast is. Because this serpent is more subtle, more cunning, more skillful, more deceitful than any beast of the field. So let's first find out what the beast of the field, because the serpent is associated with the beast of the field, is it not? So let's go see. Give me Ecclesiastes. I'm sorry. Ecclesiastes 3:18 to find out what that beast of the field is.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 18. I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Read that part again.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
The estate of the sons of men. We're talking about the sons of men. The sons of men. Read on.
That Yah might manifest them. And that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
That they might see that they themselves are beasts. The Bible equates the sons of men as beast. The Bible equates the sons of men as beast. The serpent is equated or is more subtle or is equated as being a part of the beast. As being part of the beast. Right. So let's go to Revelations 12 and 9.
For sure, man.
Let's figure out who this serpent is and what this serpent is. Revelations 12 and 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent.
Read it again.
And the great dragon was cast out.
The great dragon was cast out. And what did the Bible call him?
That old serpent.
That old serpent. Why is Revelation saying that old serpent? Because Revelations is saying that old serpent from Genesis. That's what he's saying. That old serpent from Genesis. Read.
Called the devil and Satan.
Called the devil and Satan. Come on.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
Which deceiveth the whole world. Read.
He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Good. Now, we're not talking about just one spiritual entity. We're talking about this old serpent that was cast out from the beginning. The same spirit. The serpent is a spirit of a man. This particular man. Jump up to verse 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven.
Come on.
And behold, a great red dragon.
You read it again.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon.
A great red dragon, or a great red serpent. A great red dragon or a great red serpent. Come on.
Having 7 heads.
7 heads.
And 10 horns.
10 horns.
And 7 crowns upon his head.
This is a people. This is the spirit of a people. A particular type of people. A great red dragon. I wasn't going here, but let's go here. Give me Genesis 25 and 25. Let's see why the Bible is calling this serpent or this dragon a red serpent or a red dragon.
Genesis 25, verse 25. And the first came out red.
The first came out red. The first came out red. Come on.
All over like a hairy garment.
All over like a hairy garment. Read.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. So the dragon is the descendants of Esau, or the serpent is the descendants of Esau that carry that same spirit that we read about in Genesis 1. There's more subtle than any beast of the field, or more cunning than any beast of the field. The same red serpent or dragon carries the same spirit. The same spirit. Now let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis.
We're going to get into it. That was just verse 1.
Let's go back to verse 1. So
let's go back to verse 1.
We have a clear understanding of what we're reading. The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more settled than any beast of the field.
Come on.
Which the Most High Yah had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have Yah said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
You shall not eat every tree of the garden. Verse 2.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruits of the trees of the garden.
We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. We may listen to the philosophies of these trees that's in the garden. Do everybody understand what we was talking about last week about men being trees? Y'all remember that? We may listen to the philosophies. Come on.
But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden.
But the fruit in the midst of the garden, come on.
Yah have said, Ye shall not eat of it.
You shall not eat of it.
Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Lest you will die. Verse 4.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
You won't die. You're not going to die. Come on.
For Yah do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open.
Your eyes going to be open.
And ye shall be as gods.
And you shall be as gods. Come on.
Knowing good and evil.
Knowing good and evil. Come on, let's get Wisdom of Solomon 14. Wisdom of Solomon, 14th chapter and the 27th verse. What is that? What is that? Knowing good and evil. What is that?
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27. For the worshiping of idols, not to be named.
The worshiping of idols, come on.
Is the beginning.
Is the beginning.
The cause. And the end of all evil.
Is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. This is what Eve was dipping into. This is what she was dipping into, the worshiping of idols, and this is what the serpent was teaching her. He was teaching her about idol worship. Jump up to verse 12, I believe.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon,
I think it's 12.
Chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols.
Yes, that's it. Come on.
Was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Read it again.
For the devising of idols.
The devising of idols. The devising of idols. Come on.
Was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
And the invention of them is the corruption of life. It's the corruption of life.
What verse was it?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verses 12 and 13.
Oh, you went to 12.
Yeah.
You went to 12?
Yeah, I just gave you 12.
Okay, let's go, drop back down to 27 and read down.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verses 27. For the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. For either they are mad when they be married, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly, or else lightly forswear themselves. For insomuch as their trust is in idols, which have no life, though they swear falsely, yet they look not to be heard. Howbeit for both causes,
that's what I want. For both causes, come on,
shall they be justly punished. Both because they thought not well of Yah.
What verse we have?
30.
Oh, I'm going to 31.
Giving heed unto idols.
Giving what?
Giving heed unto idols.
Giving heed unto idols.
And also unjustly swore in deceit.
Giving heed unto idols and unjustly swearing in their deceit.
Despising holiness.
Despising what?
Holiness.
Despising the set apartness. This is what Eve had. This is what she did.
For it is not the power of them by whom they swear, but it is the just vengeance of sinners that punisheth always the offense of the ungodly.
Let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3,
verse 5.
Verse 5. For y'all do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Verse 6.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
We'll just read it again.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, she liked what she saw. It raised lust in her. So when lust is conceived, give me James 1 and 15. Because lust was conceived in her. Lust was conceived in her.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 15.
Come on.
Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin.
Read it again.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 15.
Come on.
Then when lust hath conceived.
When lust hath conceived.
It bringeth forth sin.
It brings forth sin.
And sin.
When she seen the tree, that it was good for food, and she wanted it, she desired it, lust was conceived in her. And it brought forth sin. Come on.
And sin.
And the disobedience or the breaking of Yah's law. Come on.
When it is finished.
When it is done with you.
Bringeth forth death.
It brings forth death. Because that's all it wants to do is take you out the game. The serpent that did his job when he made the presentation. And then when the lust was conceived in her, and she wanted it, it brought forth sin, disobedience. That was it. And that sin brought forth her demise and her husband's demise. I'm telling you. Sometimes you got to avert your eyes somewhere else. Let's go back to 6. Let's go back to 6.
Right.
Yeah, look the other way, like this, real like look the other way.
Right.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
When lust was conceived in her, come on,
and that it was pleasant to the eye,
and it was pleasant to the eyes, she said, oh, I like what this brother is saying. Eve said, oh, I like what this brother is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know how y'all do it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all women, I'm on this side of the room. I'm looking on this side of the room. Oh, I like it. I like what he's saying. Lust was conceived then. Lust was conceived. I like that tree. Lust was conceived right then. Give me 1 John. Give me 1 John. Give me 1 John 2 and 16.
Man, he said he was coming after y'all this week. 1 John 2 and 16. The book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh,
the lust of the flesh,
the lust of the eyes,
the lust of the eye, stop looking, the lust of your eye, come on,
and the pride of life.
And the pride of life. This is all Eve did. This is what Eve and her husband did. Read it again. Give me the 3 right there, because this is the big 3 right here. This is the big 3.
1 John chapter 2, verse 16.
Come on.
For all that is in the world.
For all that is in the world, what is it?
The lust of the flesh.
The lust of the flesh.
The lust of the eyes.
The lust of your eyes, you looking.
And the pride of life.
And the pride of life, idol worship.
Is not of the Father.
It's not, none of which are of the Father.
But is of the world.
It's all of the world. Verse 17.
And the world passeth away.
Come on.
And the lust thereof.
All that's going to pass, and the lust thereof that you're doing in the world is going to pass. Come on.
But he that doeth the will of Yah abideth forever.
Abideth forever. Let's go back.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise.
Come on.
She took of the fruit thereof.
She took the man's philosophy, the man's religion. She took it. Come on.
And did eat.
And she received it. She ingested it. She accepted it. She accepted it. Come on.
And gave also unto her husband.
And then she went and told her husband.
And he did eat.
And he accepted it. This is where it all went bad. It went all bad right here. Because y'all haven't showed up yet. When she did it, y'all didn't show up yet. It's only after when he did it. That's when the Most High showed up.
He's supposed to be in
Because he was supposed to correct her. He was supposed to get her straight. When she brought it to him, woman, what are you doing? And he was supposed to get her together, but he didn't. He fell for it. He fell for it. Let's read it again.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof.
She took of the fruit there. She took the information that she received from the serpent. Come on.
And did eat.
And she received it. She ingested it. She took it in. She accepted it. Come on.
And gave also unto her husband.
And she took it to her husband.
With her.
And taught her husband what the serpent taught her.
And he did eat.
And he accepted what the woman said. Come on.
And the eyes of them both were open.
Come on.
And they knew that they were naked.
Let's go back. Start at verse 7 and get top of verse 7 again.
And the eyes of them both were open.
She, remember before her eyes, she looked at it and the lust was conceived in her. She taught it to him, and then both of the lust was conceived in both of them. Lust was conceived in both of them. Come on.
And they knew that they were naked.
And they knew that they were naked is going into they knew they had sinned and were ashamed. Now, it's not that they were running around with no clothes on. Naked here equates shame. Let's go back to the end of chapter 2. Chapter 2. What verse was that? It's to verse
25. Okay. The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 25. Mm-hmm. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Naked is always equated to shame or shameless or shameful. Let's get it in. Let's get another precept to explain this better. Revelation 16 and 15. Revelations chapter 16, verse 15. And it reads, Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth.
Watch this.
And keepeth his garments.
And keepeth his garments. Read.
Lest he walk naked.
Lest he walk naked. Come on.
And they see his shame.
And they see his shame. So naked is all being naked, or one realizing that they are naked, meaning they are shamed. Meaning they are shamed. Either shamed, ashamed, unashamed, or shamed. What was the question?
Which chapter, verse?
Oh, Revelation 16, verse 15.
Okay. 16, 15.
Yeah. So let's read verse 7 again. Now that we understand that, let's read verse 7 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 7. Mm-hmm. And the eyes of them both were open.
Lust conceived.
And they knew that they were naked.
They knew that they had sinned and were ashamed of what they had done. Come on.
And they sewed fig leaves together. And made themselves aprons.
Now let's go on to that. They sewed fig leaves together. And made themselves aprons. What does that mean? Because you already heard me say that they already had on garments. They was not naked, right? Mm-hmm. So why are they sewing fig leaves together, and why are they making themselves aprons? Verse 8 kind of explains it, but I want to go to get a precept before we go to verse 8. Let's get Isaiah 61 and 10.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 10.
Watch this.
I will greatly rejoice in thy power. Mm-hmm. My soul shall be joyful in Yah.
Watch this.
For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation.
Yeah, he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. So my garments is set apart from other garments. Come on.
He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness.
He clothes me with the robe of righteousness. My robe is set apart from all other robes. Come on.
As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments. Mm-hmm. And as a bride adorneth herself with her jewel.
All right, let's go to verse 8 now, because we want to explain what is the fig leaves being sewn together. What does that represent? Let's go to verse 8. It explains it. Come on.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 8. Mm-hmm. They heard the voice of the Most High Yah walking in the garden in the cool of the day.
Now let me ask you a question before we go into the explaining the aprons. Can a voice walk? Voices do not walk. They carry, right? So who was walking in the garden in the cool of the day? He was down here walking. A voice. Let me tell you something. A voice don't walk. Legs do. So it wasn't. I hear him walking. Mm-hmm. I hear his voice walking. You can't hear a voice. Do a voice got legs? A voice don't have legs, right? So this was a figure. This was a man. This was a man walking in the cool of the day in the evening. Called to Adam, where are you? He's walking around in the garden. Let's read on.
Wow. And they heard the voice of the Most High Yah walking in the garden in the cool of the day.
Watch this.
And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High.
How did they hide themselves?
Amongst the trees in the garden.
They did what?
It was like, man, hide.
No, wait. Say it.
They hid They hid themselves amongst the trees in the garden.
They hid themselves amongst the trees. They hid themselves amongst the other nations of men. That's why they changed their clothes to look like everybody else. Because Adam and Eve looked dressed differently than everyone else. Y'all put them on the robe of salvation. He put them on the robe of righteousness. They look different than everybody else. They made fig leaves together to look like everybody else. They put on them new clothes, and then they merged themselves into the other nations to hide themselves from Yah.
Wow.
They hide amongst other nations. Because even then, Yah had separate nations. But they wanted to look like everybody else. To hide. Because they knew what they had done. Their shame had came upon them. They knew they sinned. Oh, we in trouble now. So we just going to take off the robe of righteousness and put on the clothes like everybody else.
Yeah. They didn't feel like they deserved to wear them, I guess.
Yeah, we want to look like everybody else. Because we did wrong. That's what the sewing of fig leaves together to put on an apron was. Because how they know to do that if they was just running around butt naked? Obviously, they was sewing other clothes together. They just going, oh, you know what? I just invented sewing and started sewing. All right. Y'all marinating on that? All right. Okay. Where we at? All right.
Verse 9.
9?
Yep.
All right, let's get it.
And the Most High called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou?
Where are you at, Adam? Come on.
And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
I was ashamed. And I hid myself. What if he was butt naked the whole time, and he been talking to Yah the whole time? Why he gonna say here, right here? Why he gonna get to here and say, oh, I'm naked and I didn't want you to see me, and I hid myself? Been walking around Yah the whole time. You was naked, right? So that must mean this is not the bugger naked that they talking about, right? No. It means shame. I was ashamed, Yah. So I hid from you. I was ashamed. That's what it means. Give me Romans. Let's get a precept. Give me Romans 6:21. I was ashamed, Yah. That's why I hid. Romans 6:21.
Romans 6:21. The book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 21. What fruit had ye in those things, whereof ye are now ashamed?
But you are now ashamed. Come on.
For the end of those things is death.
The end of those things that make you shame, Adam, is death. It is death. It is death. It is death. Lust conceived in you, and you giving yourself over to lust that makes you, that's going to make you ashamed, is nothing more than death to you. That's the wage. That's the cost of that sin. If you break Yah's law, the payment for it is death. Drop down to verse 23 in that same chapter.
For the wages of sin is death.
Read it again.
For the wages of sin is death.
Read it one more time.
For the wages of sin is death.
Look, stop sinning.
But the gift of Yah is eternal life.
But the gift of Yah is eternal life.
Through a Mashiach Yahawashah.
Do not break the laws of the Most High. Because that's the payment for it. That's the payment for it. Death, that's the payment for it. Let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verses 11. And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked?
Who told you to be ashamed? Who told you that you should be ashamed?
Hast thou eaten of the tree, whereof I commanded thee that thou should not eat? And the man said, The woman who thou gave. And the man said, The woman who thou gavest to be with me. She gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
She gave me of that. She gave me that, and I did. And yes, sir, I did do it. I ate it. She gave it to me, but it was her. It was her. And you gave her to me. You gave her to me, and it was her. Come on. Watch this. Watch what she does.
And the Most High said unto the woman,
Woman, come on.
what is that thou hast done?
What did you do? Come on.
And the woman said,
What'd she say?
the serpent beguiled me.
It was the serpent. He lied to me, y'all. He lied to me. He told me. And I bought into all of his lies.
And I did eat.
And I ate it. I did do it. I did do it. Come on.
And the Most High said unto the serpent,
Come on.
because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle,
Come on.
and above every beast of the field.
Read it again. Read it again. So we know what the beast of the field is, right? We know what the beast of the field is.
And the Most High said unto the serpent,
Come on.
because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all the cattle,
You verse of all the
and
cattle.
above every beast of the field.
And above all the beasts of the field.
Upon thy belly shalt thou go.
So that means you shall be in a very low state amongst all men. Amongst all the men on earth, you're going to be in the low state. On your belly you should go, meaning that you're going to be the lowest or the abased, or you're going to be the most abased people on the planet. On your belly, you're going to go because of what you did. Meaning you're going to be the most abased people, the lowest people on the planet is going to be you.
And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
Come on.
And between thy seed and her seed.
What verse are you at?
15.
15. Read it again.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
I'm going to put enmity. I'm going to put hatred. I'm going to make you and the woman enemies. You serpent, you're going to be an enemy to the woman. Remember, we're talking about secrets and we're talking about similitudes, metaphors. Remember, read verse 15 again.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. And between thy seed and her seed.
Between your seed, that's how you know this is not a snake. Your seed means your descendants or your children. Between your children and her children. Between your children, serpent, and the children of the woman, you are going to be enemies. Come on.
And it shall bruise thy head.
And it's going to bruise your head, serpent.
And thou shalt bruise his heel.
And you're going to bruise. Did you see what it just said? It became singular and not plural. And thou shalt bruise his head, his heel. And thou shalt bruise his heel. It went from seed to his. Y'all see that? Yah has already, within these two verses, planned a way of escape right then and there. Right then and there, he already planned. He made plans in them two verses. Now let's read the top of verse 15 again. I'm going to let you read it all the way through. And then we're going to get the precepts.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
Come on.
And between thy seed and her seed.
Read.
It shall bruise thy head. And thou shalt bruise his heel.
Let's get Ezekiel 35 and 5. 35 and 5.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. And it reads, because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Because you, Idumea, or you, Esau, or you, the spirit of the red dragon, that old serpent called the devil, has had a perpetual hatred or an ancient hatred for the children of Israel. Come on.
By the force of the sword.
By the force of the sword. Come on.
In the time of their calamity. In the time of their iniquity. Had an end.
Let's go back to Revelations now. Give us Revelations 12. and 1. Start at verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelation.
We're about to explain Genesis 15. Come on.
Chapter 12, verse 1.
We're going to read on down to verse 5.
And it reads, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven,
A
woman clothed with the sun.
A what?
A woman clothed with the sun.
A woman. Now, the woman in Genesis 15, we know was not Eve. That wasn't the woman that the Most High was talking about. Read on.
And the moon under her feet.
And the moon under her feet, come on.
And upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
For the nation or the children of Israel. This woman that's being spoke of is the children of Israel. That's the woman that Yah was talking about in Genesis 15. Come on.
And she being with child cried.
And she being with child, come on.
Travailing in birth. And pain to be delivered.
Come on.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven.
Come on.
And behold, a great red dragon.
This is the enmity that Yah was talking about. There's another woman in heaven, a great red dragon. Come on.
Having 7 heads.
Come on.
And 10 horns. And 7 crowns upon his head.
This is the nation of the Edomites. The Edomites who has a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel. Read on.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
That's Judah, Benjamin, Levi. His tail drew a third part. This is talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Come on.
And did cast them to the earth.
And they did cast us to the earth as slaves. Come on.
And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered.
And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered. Come on.
Were to devour her child as soon as it was born.
To devour her child as soon as it was born. The Esau stood before, who was this talking about? Herod, that wanted to kill our Messiah, Yahushua. Read on.
And she brought forth a man-child.
And she brought forth the man-child, which is Yahushua the Messiah. Come on.
Who was to rule all nations.
That's how we know it's him, to rule all nations. Read.
With a rod of iron.
With a rod of iron. Read.
And her child was caught up unto Yah. And to his throne.
Is that it? Yep. Verse 5?
Yep.
All right, now let's go back to verse 15 of Genesis 3.
And it reads, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
So we know what the enmity is, the perpetual hatred that Esau has for the children of Israel. Because guess what? Esau has the spirit of the serpent. Esau has the spirit of the serpent. Come on.
And between thy seed and her seed.
Between the descendants of the woman and the descendants of the serpent. Come on.
It shall bruise thy head.
It shall bruise thy head. Come on.
And thou shalt bruise his heel.
And you're going to bruise the heel of the Messiah. Do y'all see that?
Yep.
Y'all got it? All right, verse 16. I don't want to move on if you don't have it. Got it? Verse 16.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow.
Now he's talking to Eve. Now he's talking about Eve and to Eve. Read on.
And thy conception.
I'm going to multiply your sorrow and your conception. Come on.
And sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
See, that's different now. Now it's different. All of your desire, your whole complete desire is now going to be to your husband. Because of what you did, Eve. Now your whole complete desire going to be to him. You ain't going to be able to run off, just running your mouth, going over there talking to all them other trees and stuff. No. It's going to be, your desire going to be to him. Come on.
And he shall rule over thee.
And now he's going to rule over thee, since you can't rule yourself. You can't keep yourself at home. You can't be quiet. You got to be running off talking to other trees. Now guess what? He gonna rule over you. Verse 17.
And unto Adam he said.
This is what he said to Adam. Come on.
Because thou hast hearkened thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife.
Well, you henpeck, Adam. You hearken to the voice of your wife. Come on.
And hast eaten of the tree.
Come on.
Of which I commanded thee, saying,
read.
Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake.
Cursed is the ground for your sake. Now you're going to see before, when he told Adam, curses the ground for thy sake, before there was nobody working hard for food. Luscious grapes was just growing on the vine. There was fruit just, ripening fruit just hanging from the limbs of trees. And it was beautiful. And at this point, nobody was eating flesh either. So you're just walking around picking up herbs off the ground, big old onions and peppers and celery, and you just plucking stuff. It's just growing. Nobody's planting seeds or nothing. It's just growing. It's beautiful. It's growing beautifully. Delicious. It's just, it's just growing. It's not hard. It's not a test to this. They just walking around in the garden eating lavish fruit. Spectacular, right? What verses we at? We was on 17, right? Yeah. Cursed is the ground for your sake, Adam. Come on.
Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
Now you're going to have to work. You're going to have to cultivate the soil. You're going to have to plant the seed, and you're going to have to dredge a canal in order to irrigate the land. And you're going to have to work hard for this food now. That's right. Come on.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee.
You see, it wasn't any weeds that are choked. See, we garden, so we understand that we got to go and cultivate the garden every now and then because the weeds grow up faster than the plants do, right? So you got to go out there. You got to clear the weeds out in order for the sun to get into your garden so it can get the proper nutrients and stuff that it needs. Come on.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread.
We missed something.
Thorns also and thistles, verse 18. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. And thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
And thou shalt eat the herb of the field. Come on.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. Till thou return unto the ground.
Until you die. You're going to work until you die. Come on.
For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
And now your physical body going to die, because spirits never die. Read.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Until Adam also and to his wife did the Most High Yah make coats of skin.
This is when the law of sacrifice was implemented. This is when the law of sacrifice was. Yah did the first sacrifice. He taught Adam how to do it. Come on.
And clothed him.
Read verse 21 again.
Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Most High Yah make coats of skins and clothed him. And Yah said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever.
So Adam's failure deposed him from the title of the tree of life. It deposed him. So when it said before he will take forth his hand and live forever, he was deposed at this time because he had sinned and he had failed. So let's find out exactly what that means. So let's see here. Let's go 1 Corinthians 15:45. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verses 45.
And read on down. I'll tell you when it's down. I'm not really sure how far down I'm going. We'll just read on down.
And so it was written. The first man, Adam, was made a living soul.
The first man, Adam, was made a living soul.
And the last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
And the last man, Adam, was made a quickening spirit. Adam was deposed. Adam was deposed, and now Yahweh Shai has to step in and fix what the first Adam failed to do. Come on. Which we'll get to it. Come on.
Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural. And after that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth.
The first man is of the earth.
Earthly. The second man is of the Most High Yah, from heaven. And as is the earthly, such are they that are earthly. And as the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. And as we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Now, this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yah. Neither do corruption inherit incorruption.
What verse you at?
50.
Read on.
Behold, I show you a mystery.
I'll show you a mystery. Come on.
Ye shall not all sleep, but we all shall be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory.
So this is what happened. Adam, with his failure and his deposing brought in death. Remember, I said the wages of sin is death. Adam was the tree of life in the garden, meaning he had the keys to life because he had the commandments of Yah. But he failed to teach men Yah's commandments. So that deposed him as the tree of life. Cool. You understanding what I'm saying? Where we at? What verse you at? What verse were you at?
That was verse 54.
54? Yep. I think I want to go to 57. So let's read on.
And it reads, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?
Come on.
The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law.
The sting of death is sin. Come on.
Man, you don't have to tell somebody about that verse. They get that confused. But thanks be to Yah, which giveth us the victory through the Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
He's giving us the victory through Yahweh Shai. Come on.
Therefore, my brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of thy power. For as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Mashiach.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's for 57?
That's 58.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. That was the whole chapter.
Yeah, that's it.
Chapter, yeah. All right. Now give me Romans 5, 5th chapter of Romans, and start at verse 10.
Romans 5 and 10. For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to Yah.
There it is. There it is. I want you all to understand how Adam was the tree of life. Now Yahweh Shai is the tree of life. The first man, Adam, failed. The second man, Adam, succeeded. The first man, Adam, brought in death. The second man, Adam, nullified death. Read on.
For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to Yah.
We was reconciled back to Yah. How?
By the death of his son.
By how?
By the death of his son.
Read.
Much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. And not only so, but we also joy in Yah. Through the Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
Read on.
By whom we have now received the atonement. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world.
By one man's sin entered into the world. Death entered into the world. Come on.
And death by sin.
And death by what?
Death by sin.
And death by sin. Come on.
And so death passed upon all men.
Death came upon all men at that point because we were never meant to die.
For
God
that
created us to live. Come on.
For that all have sinned. For until the law sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law.
When there is no law. What verse you at?
13.
Okay, 14 is where I'm going. Come on.
Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses.
Death, read it again.
For nevertheless,
death
reigned from Adam to Moses.
Death reigned from Adam to Moses. Come on.
Even over them that had not sinned. After the similitude of Adam's transgression.
After the similitude of Adam's transgression is why death entered into the earth. But it wasn't until Moses came and got the law. Now we're looking for the Messiah unto life. Read it.
Who is the figure of him that was to come.
The law is a figure of him that was to come. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Now let's go back to Genesis. Verse 23.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 23. Therefore, the Most High Yah sent him forth from the Garden of Eden.
He sent Adam away because he's rejected.
To till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way.
Watch this.
To keep the way of the tree of life.
To keep the way of the tree of life. Now Adam is rejected. There's a new tree of life. There's a new tree of life. Now men had to seek Yah through prayer and sacrifice. Before we didn't have to do that. Now we have to seek Yah through prayer. After he drove the man out, now you have to seek Yah through prayer and sacrifice. He showed Adam how to atone for sin. That's what he showed Adam, how to atone for sin. All right. Now we're going to Genesis 4. We got through it. Y'all feeling okay?
Yeah, man.
All right. I know. You just don't worry about it. You just got about 35 more precepts, and then that'll be it.
You know what your job is.
All right. Let's get Genesis, the 4th chapter.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4. And it reads, And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived, and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yah. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flocks and of the fat thereof.
Read that verse 4 again. I want to deal with that too. just that part, that first part of verse 4.
For sure. And Abel, he was brought of the firstling of his flocks and the fat thereof.
And the fat thereof. So they're sacrificing. So somebody taught them that, right? Adam taught them. Their daddy taught them. Because Yah taught their father. Remember, when he made coats of skin, the Most High was teaching them how to atone for what they had done. You disobeyed me, and the only way that you can atone for what you have done is something has to die. There has to be a blood sacrifice. So he taught his sons the same thing. And when they became men, guess what? Now they're sacrificing, right? So let's read it again. Let's get Numbers. First of all, let's get Numbers. Let's get a precept. Let's get Numbers 18 and 17. This is the law of sacrifice. This is being taught then. We have to remember what time span we in. Is there such thing as the children of Israel yet? No. So the law was already in the earth before the children of Israel got here, because Adam was the teacher of the law. Numbers 18 and 17.
The book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 17. But the firstling of a cow, or the firstling of a sheep, or the firstling of a goat, thou shalt not redeem. They are holy.
Thou shalt not redeem, meaning you can't save. You can't keep it to yourself. Come on.
They are holy. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and shalt burn their fat for an offering made by fire.
Or burn their fat for an offering made by fire. This was the law.
For a sweet savor unto Yah.
To a sweet savor to Yah. This is Yah's offering. This is what He commanded us to do.
Don't hold back the salt.
No. Let's go back to Genesis. Genesis 4 and 4. We'll read
the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 4. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering, he had no respect.
Read it again.
But unto Cain and his offering, he had not respect.
Y'all had no respect for Cain's offering. Come on.
And Cain was very wroth.
And Cain was upset. He was angry behind this. Read.
And his countenance fell.
He had the screw face. You hear me out? He was upset. Come on.
And the Most High said unto Cain, why art thou wroth?
Why you mad, Cain?
And why thou countenance fall?
And why you got the screw face?
If thou doest well.
If you do what I say, meaning if you do well, if you be obedient, come on.
Shall thou not be accepted?
You're going to be accepted too if you obey what I said and do what I said. Come on.
And if thou doest not well.
And if you don't do well, meaning if you're disobedient to what I said, come on.
Sin lieth at the door.
Sin is lying at the door waiting for you. Read.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Now, isn't it interesting that the Satan is there too? Yah's talking to Cain, and Satan is standing there too. Read it again.
And if thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Sin lieth at the door. Read.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
And he's telling Cain, unto you is going to be his desire. He's telling Cain about the devil that's standing next to him. Unto you, Cain, going to be his desire. Come on.
And thou shalt rule over him.
And he said, you, the Hashatan devil, the adversary, you going to rule over him. Give me Psalms 109 and 6. Psalms 109 and 6.
The book of Psalms, chapter 109, verse 6. And it reads, set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand.
And let Satan stand at his right hand. You already wicked. You wicked as hell. And guess what? Satan is standing right at your right hand.
Amen.
He's on your right side, Cain. I'm talking to you, Cain, and I'm talking to the devil standing next to you. Give me let's go back to verse 8. Let's get verse 8.
Verse 8.
Yes.
And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
And murdered his brother. Read.
And the Most High said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Ain't that something to say to the Most High? I don't know where he is. Am I my brother's keeper? I don't know.
Yeah, like y'all just want to see what the fuck he was gonna say.
Let me tell you something. You have to be weary of people. Side note, brother or not, family member or not, you better be weary when people are envious, mad, and contentious with you. You better be careful. I don't care if it is your brother. I don't care if it is your sister, your uncle, I don't care who it is. Because folk will kill you. Envy, jealousy, and anger breeds contempt. It breeds anger. And just like this story we read right here, obviously it brought murder. This man Cain was jealous of his brother because he did the right thing, he did the wrong thing, and he was mad behind it. And he slew his brother. He killed his brother.
Man, that's it.
Let's read verse 10.
Hatred in your own house.
In your own house.
And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Your voice of your brother's blood crieth unto you from the ground. Crieth unto me from the ground. So blood speaks. Blood speaks. Let's hit this real quick. Let's go to Leviticus 17 and 11. I just want to, you know what I'll do? I want Leviticus 17 and 11. I want the top of that sentence, and then I want you to just drop down and read verse 14.
All right, Leviticus 17 and 11.
Just read that first little sentence, the top line.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood.
That's all I want. For the life of the flesh is in the, is that semicolon next to it?
Yes, comma.
It's a comma or semicolon?
It's a colon.
Colon? Okay. Give me the life of the blood is in the flesh. Now drop down to verse 14.
For it is the life of all flesh.
It is the life, the blood. Listen, let me tell you something. The blood is the life of all flesh. Read.
The blood of it is the life, is for the life thereof.
The blood of it is for the life thereof. Let me tell you something. I know somebody, right, who needed a blood transfusion. And they needed a lot of blood, right? And what they told me after they had the blood transfusion is they thought they were seeing somebody else's life. They told me that. I ain't telling you what somebody else told me. I'm talking about what they told me firsthand experience. They told me this. They said, they kept saying, I don't know what's going on, but it feels like I'm somebody else. They needed a massive blood infusion to save their life, right? And they got it. And I don't know how many pints of blood is in the body. I can't begin to tell you, but I know that they got probably about 7, 8, 9 pints of blood. Somebody else's blood. They had to hurry up and do this to help save their life. And they told me that they didn't understand what was going on. They felt like they were somebody else. Wow. Yes, and this person never had any other problems or issues like that. And I thought about this scripture and I prayed for them. Wow. I prayed for them because I thought about the scripture because the life is in it. That's why the Most High tells us not to eat blood. The blood of that animal. Drain it completely, and don't eat it.
Man, y'all better cook it till it's brown.
Because the life of whatever it is in the blood. Don't drink blood, don't eat blood. Because scientists still can't see what makes a life. They understand tissue and cells and biological how it works, but what is that spark that is life in you? What holds the spirit? Your blood is what holds the spirit. It's what holds the spirit. That's why when Yahushua was sacrificed, every drop of blood was precious. Every drop of blood, because it was his life source, and it had to be given to Yah as a sacrifice to atone for the whole nation. Did we finish up that verse about the blood? Verse 14.
No, man.
Let's read it. Let's hear it again. Yes.
For it is the life of all flesh.
It is the life of all flesh. Go on.
The blood of it is for the life thereof.
The blood of it is for the life thereof. The life is in that blood. Come on.
Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not eat the blood of no manner of flesh.
Don't eat no blood at all, because you're consuming that animal's soul, spirit. You're consuming that. Those life experiences, you're consuming that. All right, let's go back. The blood of your brother Cain, is crying out to me. His blood, his life force, or his life source is crying out to me. Blood has a voice. Let's get Revelation 6 and 10 right quick. Let's get one more precept for that. Revelation 6 and 10.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 10, and it reads, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Yah, holy and true, do thou not judge and avenge our blood on them?
Do not avenge our blood on them. This is what our ancestors are saying.
That dwell on the earth.
This is the blood of our ancestors crying out to our fathers here in this land, in this country, where our forefathers were murdered and slain in this country. The blood of our forefathers is crying out. Let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verses 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth.
He told Cain, now Cain, you are cursed from the earth. Come on.
Which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
What does it mean to be cursed from the earth? It means you're not going to look like anybody else on the planet. That's what it means to be cursed from the earth. At this point in time, everybody on the planet looked like they came from the ground. Have you ever noticed that even Esau, because Esau is Cain coming back into the earth, right? Have you never ever noticed that Esau looked like an alien that don't belong to this planet? Everybody looked the same somehow. Or not the same, similar. We all brown, with different shades of brown. With light brown, with dark brown, with medium brown, with reddish brown, with all different forms of brown, the whole brown spectrum. Everybody, even Chinese folk. You know, the Koreans, everybody. You don't got dark-skinned people within their nation. Somehow, they got light and dark-skinned people. Everybody but Esau. You look like you don't. Where did you come from? You don't look like you came from the ground like all of us. You look like you came off of the tip of a mountain or something. Like you fell out the sky. Right? You don't look like us. Huh? Yeah, you look like you fell out the sky. You don't look like you was formed out of the earth. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it means to be accursed from the earth. That's what Cain went through. That means all of his melanin was drained. And everybody that came from Cain from now on was going to look like they had no melanin. Read on.
When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth.
Just like the white man today. He's a fugitive and a vagabond. A fugitive is someone who has not paid for their crimes. A vagabond is someone who do not have a homeland. The white man doesn't have the so-called white man doesn't have a homeland. He go around stealing everybody else's land.
Right.
He everybody. He's South African. He's everybody. He's a Spaniard. He's everybody. So that's a vagabond. Come on.
And Cain said unto the Most High, my punishment is too greater than I can bear.
Your punishment is greater than I can bear, y'all. Come on.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. And from the face shall I be hid.
Come on.
And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
This is what Cain knew. Cain knew the law as well. Everybody that know, because you marked me. You marked me, y'all. So everybody that see me, they going to kill me. Give me Exodus 12 and 21 and 12. This is why Cain said that. Everybody that see me, everybody that see me, when they find me, they're going to kill me. That's what he said, right? This is why he said that. Come on.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21, verses 12. Come on. And it reads, he that smiteth a man.
He that smiteth a man means he that killeth a man. Come on.
So that he die.
So that he is dead like he did his brother. Come on.
Shall be surely put to death.
Shall be surely put to death. So Cain already knew. He already knew what was popping. When my daddy catch me, he's going to kill me. When these other men on the earth catch me, when they find me, they're going to kill me. That's why he was saying I'm a vagabond. I'm a fugitive. I'm going to have to run away. I can't be around anybody because they're going to kill me when they find me because they know that I murdered my brother. All right, let's go back. Verse 15.
And the Most High said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain,
whoever slay Cain,
vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Read.
And the Most High set a mark upon Cain.
That's the mark. The mark we just read. The mark was that he was a fugitive, that he would be a fugitive, a vagabond, and he will be cursed from the earth. That is the mark that's on Cain. Come on.
Lest any finding him should kill him.
Come on.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Most High and dwelt in the land of Nod.
So there's another land, huh? Called Nod. I thought everybody said there were no more people on the earth. Gotta be some more people. He went to another land called Nod. Come on.
On the east of Eden.
It was eastward of Eden. Come on.
And Cain knew his wife.
Where Cain get a wife at? Surely what his sister, y'all wasn't down with that getting down with your incest stuff. He went to Nod.
Leviticus 18.
He went to Nod, not Tennessee.
For sure.
Yeah, I get the joke. He went to the land of Nod, not to the backwoods of Tennessee. He get the joke.
For sure.
Back them hillbillies, never mind. All right. Went to the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Okay.
And Cain knew his wife.
And Cain knew his wife.
And she conceived.
And she conceived.
And bare Enoch.
And he bare a son named Enoch. Come on.
And he builded a city.
And then he went over there and built a whole city. So there's people over there. He built a city just for him, his wife, and Enoch.
And called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. And until Enoch was born, Arad.
Come on.
And Arad begot
Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel.
And Miguel.
And Miguel begot Methuselah. And Methuselah begot Lamech.
Come on.
And Lamech took unto him 2 wives.
Come on.
And the name of one was Adah. And the name of the other was Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and as such as have cattle.
21. And
his brother's name was
Jabal.
And he was the father of all such as handled the harp or organ.
So they was all musicians. Come on.
And Zillah, she also bare Tubal Cain, and instructor of every artificer in brass and iron.
So Tubal Cain was a descendant of Cain, and he was an instructor. He was an instructor of every artificer in brass and in iron. So he was a master at weaponry. Starting to get the picture here.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of white folks running around, and he was a master of weaponry. So-called white folks, excuse me. Running around, all of their skin, all of their melanin, because Cain's line was a curse from the earth. So all of his melanin was drained out, and everybody that came from Cain, melanin was gone. Tubal Cain was an instructor and an artificer of brass and iron. They made weaponry. That's what they did. Come on.
And the sister of Tubal Cain was Lamech. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my woundings, and a young man to my hurt.
So Lamech also murdered a man. So Cain's whole line just went around killing folk. Lamech went around. He ended up killing a young man. Come on.
If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold.
So it said if Cain is going to be avenged sevenfold, then truly Lamech will be avenged 70 and sevenfold. Meaning Cain had enough people that would revenge his death, and he is a descendant of Cain. And now they were artificers, meaning they made weaponry. So they went to war with people, their whole family line. So he said, surely if I killed a man and somebody tried to get me, and if somebody killed me, I'll be avenged much more than Cain would have been, because now it's more of us. Our family line, they had a family line that was warmongers, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Y'all understand? Y'all got what I said?
Yes.
All right, come on.
And Adam knew his wife.
Adam knew his wife
again.
Come on.
And she bare a son, and called his name Seth.
Read.
For Yah said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel.
So that's what Seth means. The name Seth means appointed. Appointed. Come on.
Whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son.
Come on.
And he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Most High thy power.
So Enos, the son of Seth, instituted prayer. He instituted prayer. Because whereas before, don't you know how Cain was talking to Yah? So Yah would just come and talk to men face to face. But when Enos, by the time Enos was born, Yah didn't do that no more. He didn't come and talk to men face to face. You had to pray. You had to pray to seek Yah's face. So he began to stop talking to men face to face. You understand? All right.
That's that Proverbs, turn your ear from him about your prayers.
No. Actually, that didn't go with this scripture right here, because they he just stopped stopped coming down and talking and conferring with men face to face.
Conversation off camera. Y'all need to come to class, man. Y'all need to come to class.
Yeah. So we're gonna end it right there. We're gonna leave it right there.
That's heavy.
We're gonna end it right there, and then y'all willing next week we'll go into maybe 5, because chapter 5 is just who begat who. You know what I'm saying? So we'll probably do 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6. We'll probably do 3 or 4 chapters next week, if Yah says the same. So we hope that you can glean for the lesson. We hope that you have learned something. So if you have any questions, write us. If you have any questions, you can message us. Come to class. You hear the class? You hear the class saying, come to class. Come to class. So you want to have any questions, you come and learn something. All right. With that being said, this is LDS Equal. God bless you.